Yo, welcome back to another episode of Filling Your Cup. I'm your host, David.
I'm your host, Calvin. What's up, everybody? Yo, so have you been getting all these propositions, on YouTube, they've been texting your phone, on TV about all these, you vote yes, vote no, and what do they even mean, right?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, so this video, we're going to dedicate this video on talking about all these propositions and hopefully giving you a better insight on what to do on your ballot.
Yes, and most importantly is to always be informed and vote because, every vote matters. And if you want your voice to be heard, then you gotta vote. So I'll start off with the first one. So this is Proposition 14, which is Authorized Bond Continuing Stem Cell Research Initiative statute. Okay, so let's see the summary. Authorized 5.5 billion state bonds for stem cells and other medical research, including training, research, facility, construction, administrative costs. Dedicate 1.5 billion to brain-related diseases. Appropriates general funds money for repayment, expand related programs. Fiscal impact, increase state costs to repay bonds, estimate about 260 million. So this sounds like, this jargon just sounds like funding for medical research to me, right? So what does your vote mean? Yes, a yes vote means this measures state could sell 5.5 billion in general obligation primarily for stem cell research and development of new medical treatment. A no means this measure could not sell $5.5 billion. Okay, for stem cell research. So the pro, fund further development of treatment and cures or chronic life disease threatening like cancer, Alzheimer's. Okay, kidney disease, build on discoveries, increase patient accessibility. Okay, cons will commit 7.8 billion that we cannot afford during the economic and budget crisis. So okay, so to me, right, I think California is running on a deficit right now. So it is true that I don't think we can afford it, dude. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of like a subject, right? Do we want to fund further in research for all these chronic disease, or do we want to protect our wallet? And I mean, if you look at like the way they allocate the cost, man, a lot of it goes to administrative costs. So like when it comes to these propositions, I'm really on the fence because I don't know where the money is really going to. They say it's for research purposes, but I don't really know. So, but I think this is a no for me for this time around because I feel like with COVID and everything, I think we might need to allocate that money to something else to like maybe to help out the people of Cali with like unemployment and such and whatnot. I think like that comes first because if you can't feed your citizens, like what good is this research? What about you, Calvin? What do you think?
I mean, coming from a healthcare background, I would love, I support research. Research will further advance in healthcare and in technology as well. We can better, if we better the research, we better the medicine and better saving lives. And, we can't put a price tag on lives unless, everyone dies. So, so I agree, we gotta make sure all the funding goes into research, not like
the proper channels, right? The proper channels, right?
Yeah, not like getting a new help, new office or things like that. So, and also it was a similar proposition in 2004 that allocated $3 billion for research, and not sure how far that got us as well.
Right.
So I see your point, but I'll vote yes for the advancement of health care.
All right. Okay. I mean, it's your choice. Your vote, your choice. All right. Let's go to the next one. 15. All right, Calvin, this is yours.
All right. Proposition 15 increases funding sources for public schools, community college, local government services by changing tax assessment of commercial and industrial properties, initiate constitutional amendment. So summary, taxes such as taxes properties based on current market value instead of purchase price,
Yeah.
Fiscal impact: increased property tax on commercial properties worth more than $3 million, providing 6.5 to 11.5 billion in new funding to local government and schools. If you vote yes, property taxes on most commercial properties worth more than $3 million will go up in order to provide new funding for local government and schools. If you vote no, property taxes will stay the same. Local government and schools will not get any funding. So pros are fair balance reform that closes property tax loopholes, benefiting the wealthy, cutting taxes for small businesses, protecting homeowners and renters, requires full transparency to reclaim billions of dollars for schools and local communities, supported by new nurses, teachers, small business owners, affordable housing advocates, and community organizations. Cons: $12 billion in property tax increase that raises our cost of living, making everything we buy, food, gas, utilities, daycare, healthcare, expensive. All right. So what do you think?
Okay, I think this is I think it's a no for me because first of all, this prop doesn't really outline on how much tax is going to be increased on commercial buildings, and the argument says that it's going to benefit, it cuts taxes for small business, protect homeowners and renters, require full this prop doesn't explain any of that. I think these are just kind of like feel good words that they toss in there. So what I got out of this, they're gonna increase commercial taxes on commercial buildings, which technically doesn't affect us homeowners, right? Because like these are like large offices and like whatnot. But like what's gonna happen is like as tax keep increasing, especially right now with COVID, right? People realize that they don't need an office to operate. Most of the workers can work remote. So this just feels like it's gonna drive away business that actually rent well, I mean, okay, I'm kind of twisted because like this tax on basically the building, right? So I think that the building's gonna pass on the cost to the tenants, and the tenants are not probably gonna be there because they might move out because like a lot of like the big businesses, like they realize they don't need these office space for their operation, so they're gonna leave. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's just gonna like cause more business to leave California and whatnot. And also like I mean they say it's increased funding for public school and community colleges, but like from what I've known that we spend a lot of money on education, but a lot of the money just get allocated to the wrong I guess you say departments or whatever. Like it goes a lot of it goes to like administrative, right? Because like I mean the teachers doesn't get that paid that much, so I feel like it all goes to like the higher up. So this just seems like a new tax hike on commercial buildings, which like the con says it's going to increase the cost of living for everybody. I feel so. This is a no for me. What about you, Calvin?
This will also be a no for me as well. We don't know how the money's being allocated. Like you said, these feel-good words such as local economy, schools, things like that. Not sure where the money is allocated. And living in the Silicon Valley and Bay Area, we've benefited from all these large tech companies coming into the Bay Area and thriving, helping us in the local economy as well. So if we increase their cost of operations and increase their cost of these office spaces when they're not even here anymore because of COVID, driving them away would not benefit us.
Yeah, it feels like you're just hurting yourself at this point.
Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, I agree. But
all right. So it's a no. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. Well, I thought this was gonna be the driver one, but not yet. Okay, let's see. Proposition 16 allows diversity as a factor in public employment, education, and contracting decision. legislative constitution amendment. Okay, it sounds like a affirmative action. Permits government decision-making policies to consider race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in order to address diversity by repealing constitution prohibiting such policies. Fiscal impact. No direct fiscal impact on state and local entities. The effect of this measure depends on future choices of state and local government entities and highly uncertain. What your vote means? Yes. Yes on this means state and local entities could consider race, sex, color, ethnicity, and national origin in public education, public employment, and public contracting to extend allow under federal and state laws. A no means the current ban on consideration of sex, race, sex, color, ethnicity, and national origin in public education and public employment and public contracting would remain in effect. So a pro, Proposition 16 equal opportunity to all Californians, increasing access to fair wages, good jobs, and a quality school for everyone. Prop 16 fight wage discrimination and systematic racism, opening up opportunities to women and people of color races. Okay, supported by blah 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 blah. Okay, cons. Politician wants to strip our constitution of its prohibition of discrimination and preferential treatment based on color, sex, and ethnicity or national origin. Okay, favorites. Okay, so this is like easy no for me. So it sounds like affirmative action, right? And if you look at the pro, it says expands equal opportunity to all Californians, increases access to fair wages and good jobs and quality of school for everyone. So this, okay, again, like this does not, I don't think this prop offers that this fairness, because basically you're going to be hiring someone for the sake of diversity and not sake of they're the best person for the job, right? So this feels like affirmative action to me, and I am definitely not for this, because I think the best person for the job should get hired. Diversity does matter in a sense, but I don't think you sacrifice the quality of candidate you're hiring, right? Because then, like, just for example, if you hire like an African American to the board, right? Like all the board members who are already there, they're gonna kind of like there's gonna be a stigma, be like, oh, you only got hired because of your race, not because of your qualification, right? So I think this will drive some sort of like conflict when in like the higher ups, because if you're hiring someone based on other factors other than qualification, then I feel like it's like a no. But I mean, that's my two thoughts on it. So I think this is like an easy no from me. What about you, Calvin?
It's a sticky situation. Yes, we shouldn't hire based on the color of our skin. But we all know that African Americans and Latinos are disproportionately underrepresented, and they usually are in the lower tier of the social economical hierarchy or ladder, excuse me. So when they are working uphill in terms of education, in terms of fighting for jobs, in terms of getting the resources they need to be on the same level playing field as other races. So that, in a sense, I understand what this may be implying, but yeah. So hiring solely based on the color of their skin is a no for me as well.
Hey, for a second, I thought you were swaying to a different answer, which is fine. It's only your opinion, but I mean, I think logically it just makes sense to have the best person for the job to get hired. That's just kind of what it is. Because like you can say that by doing this, it'll help out the communities that are usually neglected. But then again, if you do this, then you're also affecting the other communities as well. Because like the Asian communities, we are a small makeup of the the whole picture. But then like not to brag or anything, but like, you know, like we do pretty well in like all these like a lot of the high paying sectors, right? Like engineering, like all the STEM majors. So I mean, if you give someone else their job, so technically you're taking away from one community to give to the other. So and that's kind of how I want to see. And honestly, I think the best person should get the job. That's kind of how I see it, because it's kind of like that's kind of like Darwin, bro. Survival of the fittest, man. You know, as shitty as that sounds, man, it's kind of how life works, you know. All right, let's go to the next proposition. That was an interesting one. That was an interesting one.
That was, yeah.
All right, proposition
Sticky.
13. This is yours. Oh wow, you got a short one, bro.
All right, 17. Restore right to vote after completion of prison term, legislative constitutional amendment. So basically restores the voting rights upon completion of prison term to person who has been disqualified from voting while serving a prison term. Fiscal impact annually capped costs likely in hundreds of thousands of dollars. State voters registration, ballots, material, one-time state cost likely in hundreds of thousands of dollars for voter registration cards and system. If you vote yes, it means people on a state parole who are U.S. citizens, residents of California, at least 18 years old, will be able to vote if they register. If you vote no, that means people on parole would continue to be unable to vote in California. So pros, Prop 17 restores citizens' right to vote after they finish their parole term, aligning California with other states. Recent parole commission reports found that citizens who complete their prison terms and have their voting rights restored are less likely to commit future crimes. If you vote no, because grant violent criminals the right to vote before completing their sentence. Completing parole allows criminals convicted of murder, rape, and child molestation to vote before paying their debt to the society.
So is this basically saying you can vote while on parole? Because
Yeah,
like,
so if you
oh,
finish your,
but the thing is, like, you can vote once you finish your prison sentence already, right? That's kind of what it is. Like, once you finish your prison sentence, you can vote. I think this is more for like if you're on parole still, then you can vote with if this pass. I think this is kind of what it means.
right? No. So when you get out of jail, you're on parole before so you have a parole officer that oversees you before
Right.
you're.
But you're technically out of prison already. Like you're
Yeah.
okay. So you're just like in like like a little timeout basically.
Yeah.
It's like
babysat.
Okay, babysat. Okay. So this I think for me this is a yes, because after you finish your sentence, you know, I mean, you're on parole. That just means, you know, you already, that's just kind of like a penalty, right? Of you going to jail. I think you should get the right to vote. I mean, I think it's fair. You did serve your sentence, and parole doesn't mean you're in jail anymore. It just means there's like interest. You're repaying the interest on your debt. So I think for me, it's a yes. I guess I think you should be able to vote. Because like after jail, usually I think that's like your second chance, and I think people change. So I don't think it's gonna affect on how they vote. I think they're still gonna vote how they normally vote, but maybe they'll think more logically and stuff. I mean, like, it doesn't even matter on how they vote. It's just like I think they should get the right to vote even while on parole.
Yes, it's a yes for me as well, because yeah, so when they're on parole, you know, they're being transitioned from the prison life back into the normal everyday life. And voting is one of our, you know, normal everyday privilege that will help transition the person back into their life. And if it says that they're less likely to commit a future crime with voting rights, then, you know, I'm all for it. If they're, you know,
I wouldn't put too much thought on that comment. You know, I think I'm not gonna put too much thought on that one, but I just think like
Maybe another feel good word, right?
yeah. I think
If
you're gonna do what you're gonna do, right? I mean,
yeah,
circumstances,
if
but
that's if
I think you
that's
should get
true.
the right to the right to vote. God damn it, the vote to vote. Yeah, you get the vote to vote, bro. You get the vote to vote, man. That's what it is. All right, man. Let's go next one. 17.
Yep.
Oh man, let's crack through these babies, man. All right. Oh, and a short one. So Proposition 18 amends California Constitution to permit 60-year-olds to vote in primary and special election if they will turn 18 by the next general election and be otherwise eligible to vote. Legislative Constitution Amendment. Fiscal impact: increase statewide accounting costs slightly between several hundred thousand and $1 million every 2 years. Increase one-time cost to state of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, on this measure because means eligible 17-year-olds will be 18-year-old by the time of the next general election. May vote in the primary election and special elections preceding the general election. A no vote means no one younger than 18 years of age vote in any election. Argument. Proposition 18 will allow first-time voters to participate in full election cycle provided that they are 18 by time of general election. Con. Science on legal consistency demand no vote on Proposition 18 law prohibits younger teens from smoking, drinking, even tanning because of social that logic and reasoning area in their brains has not fully developed. All right, for me, this is a no. I actually think the voting age should increase to like maybe even 21 because like they said, like first one, you're not fully developed. Like your brain is still not fully developed at a young age, and let's be real, like at this day and age, you're constantly getting bombarded by all these advertisement, all these subliminal messages, like to it's like swaying you one way or other. So I feel like the more time you have on this earth to learn and consume like resources, then I think it's better for you. So this is like kind of one of the things where you have to like you need more experience in life, and at 17 you experience nothing in life because, for example, right, if there's amendments for regarding tax increase, if you're 17, usually you're not working yet, right? You're usually going to school and you're going to college and stuff, so you don't feel the impact of what tax increase will do to you, right? But by 21, you're probably like, you probably work a few jobs here and there, and you're finishing colleges. You're filling college. You don't have to go to college, but you feel if you are going to school, you're finishing college, and if you are just straight up working out of high school, you have like a couple years of work experience. Like that really impacts your way of thinking, right? Because then that tax increase may not look so good to you, because one, it affects you, and then like so that you would want to think twice about voting for a tax increase, and if you actually like decrease or like lower the age to 17 and a half ish kind of right here, then you're kind of I feel like you're jumping the gun like way too soon, and I don't think there's a need for someone to vote while they're still like 17, 18. Honestly, I think, to me, actually, I think they actually should increase the voting age to like 21. Because if you can't drink to 21, why can you vote? I think a vote can do a lot of damage as well, right? Than drinking. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. What do you think, Calvin?
Man, it's a. I mean, I'll say no as well. I think we should just keep it at right where it is right now, 18. Because if they're able to get drafted to the war at 18, if they're able to fight for our freedom, fight for our right to vote, they should be able to vote as well.
Okay.
And even though they don't have jobs yet, their parents may have jobs, and then if they're getting heavily taxed, it's going to be a burden on them as well. So they should have a say in that. So no, because 18 is a perfect age in my opinion.
All right, that's a reasonable answer. That's a reasonable answer.
Yeah,
I respect that. All right, man. Next one, let's go. 19, bro. This is yours. Hit it.
19. All right, 19. Exchanges certain property tax rules, legislative constitutional Amendment allows homeowners who are over 55, disabled, or wildfire disaster victims to transfer primary residence tax base to replace residence, changes taxation of family property transfers, establishes fire protection services funds, fiscal impact, local government could gain tens of millions of dollars of property tax revenue per year, probably going over time to a few hundred million per year. Schools could receive similar property tax gains. If you vote yes, all homeowners who are over 55 would be eligible for property tax savings when they move. Only inherited properties used as primary homes or farms would be eligible for property tax savings. A no, some homeowners who are over 55 would continue to be eligible for property tax savings when they move. All inherited properties would continue to be eligible for property tax savings. So the argument: severely disabled homeowners and wildfire victims closes unfair tax loopholes used by wealthy out-of-state investors and protects Prop 13 savings. Joins disability rights and seniors housing advocates, firefighters, emergency medical responders. This is the label Democratic Republicans. Okay. If you con, 19 is a $1 billion tax increase on families. It takes away one of our best tools parents have to help their children, the right enshrined in California's Constitution since 1986 to pass their home and other properties on without increasing property tax. So what do you think?
Oh, okay. Honestly, to be honest, I am not exactly too sure what this prop means. But what I got of it is yes. If it's yes, then only your primary homes or farm is eligible for property tax saving. And if you vote no, then all inherited properties would continue to be eligible for property and tax savings. I think this is an easy no for me because like a lot, like, you know, like citizens are already getting taxed a lot, you know, just throughout their lifetime already, and your properties are inherited by passed down through generation. I don't think that should get taxed. I don't think it should get taxed more than or more than previously, because I think people keep blaming, like, you know, the rich for, you know, getting all these tax savings and everything. But I mean, those are the loopholes that were instilled, you know, from long ago. And I don't think this is even a tax loophole, man. It's kind of like you inherit this from your father, right? From his father, and it's like there's no reason for you to get taxed more now because the states need money. Honestly, when I read this, it just sounds like the state wants to get more money out of you, and that's why I think this is like an easy no for me, because yes, you can tax them, right? But where does the money go? Where does the money go to? So, thanks, Calvin. Thanks for the pain right here, dude.
Yeah. So I think no as well, because again, you know, we're gonna drive up cost of living. We're gonna drive people out of California. We're gonna drive, you know, local businesses out of California, things like that. So it may negatively impact our local government, local businesses, local communities, and one of the perks of living in California is to create this generational passing to people's kids and things like that. So no.
Okay, that's fair.